Alright, so it's moving on. Why am I talking about this right now? Well, another thing I had reported on, Kraken, Basilisk, Griffin, the push to name Omicron variants after monsters. You remember that? Remember when I talked about the Kraken and such? The XBB 1.1.5?
It's XBB.1.5!
Variant estimated to make up to 28% of cases in the United States, and a name already adopted as an unofficial moniker by Bloomberg and the New York Times. And they spread it around. Anyways, let's look at all the mythological variant names they had. So we had the Black Sheep variants here, the sub-variants, sorry. After Omicron, everything became sub-variants, and we never went to a variant after that. It's all sub-variants. But I digress here. So you had your Basilisk, your Centaurus, my apologies. Your Chiron, your Dictes, your Cetus, Eterna, I don't know how to pronounce all these, obviously. Sphinx, Triton, Python, and your Minotaur. You gotta have your Minotaur. Yes. Argus, Mimas, Hydra, Typhon, Cerberus, Cerates, Orthrus, the Griffin, Hippogriff, Kraken, and Bythos. And we've moved on since then, folks. And we'll get to that in a bit. Remember, I had reported on the Kraken here. And I'll play a little clip, but I gotta mute myself again.
Kraken. The Kraken variant.
Kraken.
And some are dubbing Kraken.
New strain of COVID is generating a lot of discussion these days, and so is its name, the Kraken variant. As CTV's Ricardo Veneza tells us, a Guelph professor is the one behind the name of what's being described as the most transmissible version of the virus to date.
The nickname for the virus stems from a community of scientists looking to make it easier to refer to all the variants. They started with mythological creatures following the Greek alphabet naming system, giving other subvariants nicknames like Griffin and Hippogriff.
Kraken's not actually Greek, it's Scandinavian, but it's pretty common in popular culture.
It was University of Guelph professor T. Ryan Gregory who coined the name Kraken.
It seemed fitting, it would probably be memorable, because we were thinking we were going to be talking about this one a fair bit, which is obviously the case.
Release the Kraken!
Release the Kraken. Anyways, we don't need to continue on with that. We got a new variant in town, folks. A new subvariant, sorry. What we know about Eris, COVID variant EG.5. The dominant strain driving an uptick in cases. Now, I'm not going to focus on the whole, the rise in cases and, the coming shutting down of society, whatnot. That's not what we're talking about here. We're just focusing on the names and stuff and how things are connected in that way. New COVID Omicron subvariant EG.5 or Eris is now the dominant strain in the U.S., surpassing XBB.1.16 or Arcturus, according to new data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Oh, we got your 17 here. 17.3. Yeah, 17. Number of transformation. Where are we on? So we're talking about the piece of shit T. Ryan Gregory again. He talked about Eris. Here we go. Looks like we're going to be talking about EG.5.1 a fair bit, as it is increasing significantly in many places. To aid communication about it, we're going with the nickname Eris. See, they get to decide all the nicknames here. This group here that this guy's a part of. Note the nickname expected to cause a big wave by itself. Right, yes, because you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Trying to piss people off. Now here's the interesting part. Eris, EG.5.1, is in the Hyperion 1.9 lineage of XBB is descended from EG.5, which has been designated a variant under monitoring, Minitoring? Minitoring? Did he purposely misspell that? It's under Minitoring. I didn't notice that before. I think you meant to say monitoring, but now it's like Minotaur. Anyways, that's just funny. But yes, the Hyperion. Now I want to talk about Hyperion because it's interesting. First, we'll take a quick look at Eris, since that's the new variant in town. Eris is a Greek goddess of strife and discord. What's the connection to Hyperion? Hyperion, Titan. In Greek mythology, Hyperion, he who goes before, was one of the 12 Titan children of Gaia, Earth, and Uranus, Sky. With his sisters, the Titaness, Thea, Hyperion fathered Helios, Selene, and Eos, Dawn. Hyperion was, along with his sons, Helios, a personification of the sun, with the two sometimes identified. Yada yada yada. Now, I've been still looking this up, but I'm wondering if there's a connection between the Titans of the Greek mythology and the Nephilim. The Nephilim are mysterious beings, a people in the Hebrew Bible who are described as being large and strong. The word Nephilim is loosely translated as giants in most translations of the Hebrew Bible, but left untranslated in others. Some Jewish explanations interpret them as hybrid sons of fallen angels, demigods. There's the whole hybrid thing again. You can definitely chime in on that because I'm not an expert on this stuff. What's the connection between the two? Because I was looking it up and it seemed like other people are wondering that same thing. Are the Nephilim and the Greek Titans the same? What's the connection there? Are they the same thing? Anyways, supposing that is in that theory, then we have another connection to the hybrid stuff. But let's go back to this. There's an interesting novel here. Hyperion, Simmons novel. So Hyperion is a 1989 science fiction novel by American author Dan Simmons, the first book of his Hyperion Canto series, and won the Hugo Award for Best Novel, yada yada. Okay, now, premise. In 2732, the hegemony of man comprises hundreds of planets connected by Firecaster portals. The hegemony maintains an uneasy alliance with the Technocore, a civilization of AIs. Modified humans known as ousters live in space stations between stars and engaged in conflict with hegemony. I just thought that was interesting with the whole AI thing. Humans, modified humans, AI. I don't know. Might have to read one of these books to see what else is in there. But yeah, that's a fun, interesting connection there. But we can move on. Where was I next? I looked at the Nephilim. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about the chimeras and stuff. Now, chimeras and hybrids are not the same thing. Now, chimera, there's the legend, the Greek mythology version of it, is a fire-breathing she-monster in Greek mythology having a lion's head, a goat's body, and a serpent's tail. It also defines as an imaginary monster compounded in encourageous parts, an illusion or fabrication of the mind, especially an unrealized dream or unrealizable dream. A chimera in my brain troubles me in my prayer. His utopia was a chimera, an individual organ or part consisting of tissues of diverse genetic constitution. Hybrid created through fusion of a sperm and an egg from different species is a chimera. And the definition of hybrid: an offspring of two animals or plants of different subspecies, breeds, varieties, species, or genera, a hybrid of two roses. A person whose background is a blend of two diverse cultures or traditions. Something heterogeneous in origin or composition, composite. hybrids of complementary DNA and RNA strands, a hybrid of medieval and Renaissance styles. Something such as a power plant, vehicle, or electronic circuit that has two different types of components performing essentially the same function drives a hybrid that gets really good mileage. Right. Anyways, you get the point. We can move on into more detail here. There's just something I found online. Oh good, my highlights are still there at least. Hybrids, chimeras, and Haldane's rule. Now, Haldane was basically the dude that inspired Brave New World with his whole artificial womb stuff. And yeah, very interesting dude. I've talked about him many times, so you can either look up my older videos or do the research yourself. Just look at his wiki page, you'll get enough from that, just on this dude. He was a weird guy, and yeah, created basically what they want to do now in the future. Anyways, so chimeras are not really hybrids, but are organisms containing cells from different parents. The geep mentioned earlier was made by merging a sheep embryo with a goat embryo. Each population of cells keeps its own character, and animals is a mosaic of mismatched parts. An analogy is two jigsaw puzzles cut using an identical cutter but with different pictures. You can make a single puzzle out of this mismatched parts, but the completed puzzle will show parts of both different pictures. Interspecies chimeras are made in a laboratory. There have been rat-mouse chimeras, and recently a rabbit-human mix. It was not allowed to develop beyond a few days. Like hybrids, the parent species must be closely enough related if the jigsaw puzzle offspring is to be born alive and relatively healthy. The chimeras have either 4 parents, 2 fertilized eggs are fused together, or 3 parents. A fertilized egg is fused with an unfertilized egg, or a fertilized egg is fused with an extra sperm. 3 parents. Now, that is interesting, because if we go here, Time magazine, this is 2019, the future of babies, gene editing, uterus transplants, 3 biological parents. Now, it's been done already. There has been, I believe there was a birth. That's right. Child born with 3 biological parents. Three-parent baby. That's just a definition. World's first baby born of 3 parents technique. That was back in 2016, this article. Jesus. Another baby was born with DNA from 3 people. So we're already making chimeras. If you look at it in a technical manner, they're closely enough related species, so humans, and making chimeras. Actually, there was this video I posted October 15th of 2021. This was on Jeopardy.
Have something called tetragrammatic chimerism.
Yes.
I've learned about this in graduate school. Tell us about it.
Well, so basically with tetragrammatic chimerism or any kind of chimerism, it's the combination of multiple zygotes in the womb that then combine to form one body. In the past 20, 30 years, it's been found in humans as well as in other mammals. And the estimates currently are that up to 1 in 8 people in the world are some kind of chimera.
Wow, we are very glad you're here.
We're very glad you're here. Now, I don't know, maybe let's attempt to normalize such a thing, because they're going to take it to a different level. Now that we have the gene editing aspect, you can make real freak shows like Sweet Tooth. In nature, chimeras sometimes form when two embryos fuse together in the womb during pregnancy. This is not detected unless the offspring has visible abnormalities, e.g., some tortoiseshell male cats, or ambiguous sex organs, or behavioral abnormalities, e.g., confused gender behavior. Recent studies of tortoiseshell male cats and unusually colored cats containing a mix of colored patches considered genetically impossible suggest that natural chimerism is more common than previously realized, and that it frequently goes undetected. Skip down. Another way reproductive isolation occurs is when fragments of DNA accidentally jump from one chromosome to another in an individual chromosomal translocation. The mutant individuals cannot reproduce except with other mutant individuals. Not interesting, huh? Not much good unless the individual has mutant siblings to mate with. Maybe that's why they're always pushing that incest stuff on the prawn websites. Anyways, we know why they push that, because they want you breeding, but in the future, so genetics are altered, then you could only breed with mutants. But anyways, the mutant individuals cannot reproduce except with other mutant. Okay, not much good. Unless the individual has mutant siblings to mate with. There are also master genes, which govern general body plan, Hox genes, and those which switch other genes on and off. A small mutation to a master gene can mean a sudden big change to the individuals that inherit that mutation. Sometimes those radical mutations can undo generations of evolution, so that two unrelated species can mate with each other and produce fertile young. So far, this has only been seen in microorganisms. Interesting stuff. Nonetheless, they have some pictures of some, what do they call them, hybrids? Yeah. Some stuff you've seen before, ligers or whatever. But I digress. Now, I've been talking about the agenda to create a chimeric race of humans as part of their slave caste society that they want to create. And I wrote this one 4 years ago, 2019. Childbirth will plummet and fertility clinics will eventually give way to lab-grown humans as a solution to humanity's problem. This is where we will see the creation of the one world chimera slave race. Think I'm kidding? One simply needs to observe the social programming of television and current trends in society, and then look at the current science taking place today. It doesn't take a whole lot of a stretch to see how it connects. It all connects. And then yeah, look, this was observed on a bathroom door. Whatever, just wash your hands. There's your mythological creatures, your mermaids and your centaurs. Oh, well, those fit on the... It's like they already knew. They already knew that that's where it was heading. Gender hybrids. Anyways, there's lots of chimeric programming. Got your Hatchimals. What are they? Chimeras. They were working on monkeys, making horrific chimeric creations in the lab. It's only a matter of time. That's where it's heading. Anyways, I don't want to make a video too long. It's my first video out, and I don't know how long it's been. It feels like many months. But I thank you for your time and attention, as always. Very much appreciated. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so with the links in the description below. Otherwise, please like and share. Thank you very much. This is Venomous reporting from the brave new world. Catch you next time.
Are you talking to me?